You're going to love this episode. We have Grayson Stepanek. He's the marketing director at Goodwill Acadiana. When he starts to talk about all the things that Goodwill does within our community, you're going to be shocked. We all think it's dropping things off and they're selling it at a store. No, it is so much more than that, and it's so impressive. Here's Grayson's episode. Grayson, thanks so much for coming in.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
You are doing so much in the community. And as a young person, you have really spread your wings out. Tell me more about the leadership positions you've already done.
Professionally, I'm Director of Marketing and Communications at Goodwill Acadiana. So I handle everything marketing that you can think of, and then the whole face of Goodwill activities, presentations, news interviews, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. But I say extracurricular-wise, I'm rolling into president of the 705, which is Acadiana's premier young professionals organization. I just graduated from Leadership Lafayette, class 38, grade 38, if any of my classmates are watching. I'm College of Business alumni chapter president for the university, involved with my fraternity, both locally and internationally. So I hold a handful of different community involvement positions. Something I'm very passionate about is leadership, not only for the betterment of what I'm able to do in growing as an individual, personally and professionally, but being able to empower others. My definition of success is causing others to succeed because of your success. And so if I can have any kind of hand in doing that, that's what I want to do.
You make me feel lazy.
I don't mean to do that.
No. That's great.
Yeah.
And, you're doing more in your first 25 years than some people ever do.
And I'm very blessed to be able to say that.
Yeah, man. That's good for you.
Thank you.
So who inspired you to get in and take on everything you've done so far? In college, you were probably busy enough with fraternity and school.
Yeah.
But you've taken the ball and run with it.
I have. And honestly, that's a great question. I've never truly thought about what individuals inspire me. I know my dad has always worked multiple jobs. I don't know necessarily out of necessity, but out of love for it. He was, just for example, like an adjunct professor in bowling while he owned the Golf Shirt Shop, which is an embroidery monogramming business back in the day. He was DJ at Classic Country Saturday Nights for 973 The Dog for 17 years, executive director of the YMCA. He held a ton of different hats at different points.
Yeah.
And maybe that had something to do just subconsciously and seeing my dad in multiple jobs and multiple roles while also being in the Rotary Club as long as I've been conscious, constantly involved. He's president this year of the Rotary Club of South Lafayette. My mom has just always worked really hard at her job and has built her way up in the same company from administrative assistant to VP of admin now, and so just those two different experiences of professional and personal involvement probably had something to do with what I viewed as ambition or drive. But I just always wanted to be the person who takes initiative and do things and impacts others. And I've always taken opportunities whenever they come, but I've also been getting better recently at being strategic with what I say yes and what I say no to.
You have to.
Yeah, because that can easily turn into just spreading yourself thin, burning yourself out. And I coasted through, I didn't say coast, but I got through the finish line of grad school being able to not burn out. And I was like, okay, now it's time to reevaluate things. But I never thought about that, about who inspired me from that perspective. I think it would have to be my parents and the way that the way
they modeled what you're
exactly
should be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
My family, my wife got all of us to volunteer this morning at St. Joseph's.
Great cause. Love them.
It's unbelievable. But you wake up early, and you get over there, you feel so good afterwards, right? Just doing something for other people. So really, what role outside of work, we'll get back to Goodwill. Outside of work, what gives you that feeling the most?
Oh, that's great. I love my fraternity and all the involvement there because I never saw myself as a fraternity guy. And honestly, going into it, you have the whole frat moniker, and the whole stigma that comes with that. But then you actually it's one of those situations where you actually get to learn what's happening. It's like, oh, people just have a misunderstanding, and this is completely blown out of proportion, you know? And I found guys, I'm like, y'all align with my values and my morals, and y'all are high, upstanding gentlemen. And the ability that I've had to empower fraternity brothers, undergraduates across the country. I'm a servant leadership facilitator for our Leadership Institute. We host different workshops throughout the year, and being able to teach them about servant leadership based on Clifton's strengths and how to grow and manage high-performing teams and provide empowering feedback, self-awareness on like how you lead and what your skills, what you bring to the table, and how you can better leverage those amongst your teammates. Like being able to do that and then see it click in the guys' heads as we're talking, and seeing them open up about their leadership experiences. And
they're 18 to 21.
Exactly.
For the most part. And they're in a very stage of life where they're absorbing everything. And what you're doing there is setting them on a course. What fraternity is it?
Sigma Chi.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Hogue. Yeah, and Hogue. Yes, sir.
So, the philanthropy role in that, I guess y'all are involved big time still.
Oh, yes. Well, Huntsman Cancer Institute is the main philanthropy of the fraternity for cancer research, mainly women's cancer research. I was actually lucky enough to be able to tour Huntsman in 2021 in Utah, just seeing their facilities, and everything was fantastic. And it's a very worthy cause that I think everybody should, at least to some degree, care about and actively invest in. Bettering the world situation around that, and so thank you. So be a part of an organization that actively carries that out, and is not some organization that says they're doing something but acts another way. Like this is truly some of the best individuals I've ever met is through this fraternity, and the best development that I've gotten, opportunities, ways that I can invest in myself, and lifelong connections and friendships. It's fantastic. So like Sigma Chi on a local and international level, is rather unparalleled in my personal experience. But the 705 has also been something extracurricular wise that's just been a great opportunity, because the ability to help young professionals get to where they want to go, I look around at my other friends who feel disconnected from the business community or don't have access to people and opportunities and resources and all that kind of stuff. And to be at the helm of that in Acadiana and kind of craft and open doors for people has just been awesome. Like you're saying, the feel good feeling that you get of making an impact, but like being able for somebody to say like, oh, I'm going through this, or I have this kind of question, is like, oh, I know who you can reach out to. That's right. Just that small kind of thing has been really
I tell this to my kids all the time. Relationships are so important. You can't fake it, right? You got to be authentic, and you got to do that. But what is it? 74% of first jobs are because of a connection. So it's really high. It's very high. Yeah. And so you got to do that connection. You mentioned the Clifton Strengths Finders. That is outstanding. Yeah. And for leaders out here who've not used Clifton Strengths, one of the things I love about it is some people focus on your weaknesses, and they try to build up weaknesses and all that stuff. Clifton looks at your strengths and says, look, maximize your opportunity there.
Yeah, exactly. It's the strengths-based approach instead of the conventional approach, that's right. And shout out to Missy Bienvenue Andrade. She is one of my mentors through the 705, CEO, president of the Community Foundation of Acadiana. Absolutely fantastic individual. So she had us do our Clifton Strengths assessment. I'd done it in the past, but I never really digested it before that. And it was a interesting timing that we had done as a mentee group our Clifton Strengths assessments and kind of had a discussion as a group at the same time that Sigma Chi's leadership curriculum transferred from what was social styles, a behavioral assessment, to Clifton Strengths. So I had to learn Clifton Strengths anyways to be able to facilitate it to our guys. And that was one of the most eye-opening experiences to better understanding how I tick, because, for example, my top 5 themes: belief, achiever, responsibility, arranger, and positivity. 4 of those 5 are executing. So I'm very, which shows why I'm involved in so many things. And maybe that's, what clicked when I was young, but just being able to better understand myself and how I lead and how I show up in different situations helps me leverage those more so where I can kind of see it in everyday situations. Like I recently picked up running. It's like, oh, well, I know why running is something that I'm loving so much now is because there's a high achievement aspect to that. So many positive feedback loops, and being able to know what your cliffs and strengths is or the team, and you can better piece those together.
Mine is not running. I don't know what to do. Hey, so let's go back to Goodwill.
Yes,
and
sir.
Your role at Goodwill,
yes.
and what all y'all are doing, because I know you're doing some amazing stuff. For the
yes,
community.
yes, sir.
Tell me about your role, and then how that impacts our community.
Yeah, so I'm really passionate about what we do at Goodwill because, like I said, I'm always about empowering others and using your opportunities to be able to do so. And Goodwill is that through and through. So just a little context on Goodwill from a structural perspective. We're Goodwill Acadiana. Yeah. So Goodwill is an international organization, international entity, but then all of our agencies are local regional agencies. So we are only Goodwill Acadiana. We only service Acadiana. If you go to Lake Charles, Shreveport, Baton Rouge, all different Goodwill agencies, different management, different people. So I say that as context for the fact that we are local. We're a local nonprofit. Yeah. And that's a big misconception from time to time. And I just love sharing that aspect. But from a services perspective, we do a lot. A lot of people only know us from a donating or shopping perspective,
that's right.
Which completely understand. That's all I knew when I even was applying. And I've even told my CEO this, so he's fine with me saying it. Is like, I didn't know much else about the organization aside from that aspect, and that it had some charitable component to it. But ever since I've been here, I've just been thrilled in it because we have our HiSET program. So people can get their high school diplomas with Goodwill Acadiana for free.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And that's just the first thing. Not a lot of people know that. HiSET is like the new GED. Louisiana transferred from GED to HiSET. It's a little bit more robust. But we offer HiSET programs. So people get their high school diplomas with us for free and empowers them to go do whatever they want to do. If they wanted to go to Sola CCE or Unitech, or they wanted a specific job that required a diploma, we can help them do that. We have employment services. Mm-hmm. So anything that a career services office can do, resume assistance, interview prep, digital literacy, like all these things, we do that for free as well for our community. We have crisis assistance. It's a voucher program. So if anybody is experiencing homelessness, if they're fleeing domestic violence, if they've had a house fire, a flood, or and they just need some temporary just boost to get up off their feet and get a little something into their hands, we have a voucher program for that for free that they can use and go shop in our stores and have that dignity that everybody deserves. Yep. We also have an affordable housing program that's our least known service, and it's also the most rare in the Goodwill network. There's only about 3 Goodwill agencies, us being one of them, that has an affordable housing
throughout
program.
The country?
Yeah, throughout the country. We're one of 3 that I know of. Yeah. We help manage 36 different affordable housing properties across Louisiana. So Section 8 housing, low income, disabled, elderly, those demographics. We provide affordable housing. We have, I think, around 1,100 units in total across the state. So like Maison de Goodwill is our first property right across from Meshes on Gilbo. If people are getting their donuts and look across the street, that's a Goodwill Acadiana property, affordable housing that we help provide people with sustainable, low income living. And it's a great resource that not a lot of people know about. But it shows, like everything. Every time you donate, you get rid of something that either just doesn't fit you anymore, is not your style, or like you've redecorated your house and some of these things don't fit anymore. Every time you donate or every time you shop, you're funding these things because we don't have a philanthropy arm of our agency. Some Goodwills will have a VP of philanthropy and do capital campaigns and all that kind of stuff. We don't do any of that. Almost, I would say 85 to 90% of our revenue is from our stores, which comes from our donations because we can't sell anything without donations. And so that's why I'm very passionate about not only what we do and our services, but telling people about that and asking for donations. People get rid of things that doesn't serve them anymore anyways. Because one, you can give those items a second chance in somebody else's life. But through those donations, you give people second chances, and we're all about second chances and spreading that message. So that's just the main bullet points of what we do. We have a lot of other things. We're a gold partner with the Department of Children and Family Services, so we help people fill out their SNAP and their EBT applications and all those services that the department runs. We have digital literacy classes. Like I said, people can come in person and learn how to just work a computer, or we have access to free computers at our opportunity campus so people can come in and fill out applications and all that kind of stuff, and a whole lot more.
Where's the opportunity campus?
The actual address is 2435 West Congress Street, but where a racetrack is and the Canes, a little bit past like Rouse's, kind of behind that building.
Yeah.
We're on the corner right there. So we call it our opportunity campus because we have a donation center there. We have our corporate office there. So that's where my office is, other admin. But then we have our mission services on the back half of the building. And that's where all clients come in to get any of our services. I also mentioned, or forgot to mention, we have court-appointed community service program as well for people who, get into a situation they need to fulfill their hours. We provide that outlet for them because they would need to get it otherwise.
Yeah, that's huge. I swear to you, this is why I love doing this, because I learned so much from people like you.
Yeah.
Everybody tries to do their part, but folks like you who are dedicated to this, it really makes a difference in the community.
Thank you. And
your leadership is just, there's a ripple effect to it.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to see.
Thank you. That really does, it means a lot. Like personally, like I was saying with my definition of success, of causing others to succeed because of your success.
Yeah.
I truly value that. And I believe that we will succeed. I don't know if the camera can catch this, but on my wrist, because one of my friends had passed away in 2019, and it was one of those situations coming out of it of like, okay, well, now I'm not living for just myself anymore, but I'm living for him. He was 18 at the time. I was 19, and it's just one of those situations that really anchors you and sobers you up to the lived experience, and moving out of that is like, I'm not living for myself. At first, I was living for both of us and for him, but over time, it's more so expanded to just we as an idea,
Sure.
And that's why I'm very passionate about helping others and empowering others, and that's why also Goodwill Acadiana is just such a perfect fit for everything. Our purpose statement is reducing poverty, restoring independence, and transforming lives. The reason why we chose that is kind of around the whole analogy of like, you can give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach him how to fish and you feed him for life. Our services like HiSET, helping people level up in the education sense, helping people find a job, affordable housing, all these things raise their floor. It restores their independence in a way. It helps them reduce their poverty situation in either themselves or in their family. And through that, we transform lives, not only of them, but of their networks and generations after them.
Yeah. It's funny because, before we started rolling the cameras, we were talking.
Yeah.
And at first I was thinking, well, I bet you Goodwill's his, first real job out of school. But I work with clients and we do life plans. And to me, if your personal purpose doesn't align with the purpose of the company you're with or organization you're with, it's not going to work out well.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at your personal purpose, and I tell you what, you are aligned.
Well, thank you.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you're still doing this in 40 years.
And I appreciate that, because that's good feedback. Is like, how we can always think we're heading down the right direction, the right path. And then you get feedback from somebody else that validates that. And you're like, okay, like I'm doing good. So I really appreciate that. I love everything about Goodwill Acadiana, not only like what we do and the purpose that we serve, the puzzle piece that we are in this community, but the people there too are just fantastic. My leaders, my coworkers, everybody is just amazing.
Well, and that kind of leads me into where I was about to head. Is kind of like the people, the core of Goodwill Acadiana. You have leaders, you have volunteers, you have donors. How do you grow? Well, you in the marketing space, you're growing that through awareness, but you have to recruit donations, volunteers, and participants, workers, right?
Yeah. So donors is the main thing. That's what's so from a volunteer perspective, it's unique. Is essentially with our business structure, we can't accept volunteers in the same way St. Joseph's Diner can.
Yeah.
So we've started like a new ambassador program. I call them second chance champions. One, because if you look up Goodwill Ambassador, you get like United Nations related things. So from a branding perspective, it gets confusing. But like I said, with second chance champion, it's like we're all about second chances for the items and for the people. And that champion piece is the identity, the empowerment behind things. But we're always like increasing awareness around our brand, aiming to acquire donations to, again, that funds the whole life cycle of all that we're doing. And it's a constant effort, but it's a fun effort because it's almost like you have the truth or you have the information. You're just like, oh, I can't wait to tell more people about what I know.
Well, really, there's perception. So because we drop off at Goodwill almost weekly, right?
Yeah.
There's this perception of it's just dropping off and they sell it at the store. When I tell you, I had no idea y'all do all this other stuff. I had zero idea. So that's probably got to be fun when you see somebody go, wait, what?
Yeah. The common phrase that we get, we even put it on some of the mugs, like for our board members, is I didn't know Goodwill did that.
Yeah.
Because that's just something that people instinctually think. I'm a One Acadiana ambassador as well. That's something I forgot to mention.
Where do you sleep?
Coffee is my best friend.
Yeah,
So have to be very regimented with my sleep. But we had our ambassador meeting in November at our Opportunity Campus, and I was giving my presentation. And like, these are people that I've really grown close with over this past year, and we've celebrated ribbon cuttings and new businesses and new organizations and their workshops and all this kind of stuff. And I could see their heads like nodding, when you're talking to somebody and you see their eyes kind of light up in a certain way, or you can see that they just got something. And that's one of the best feelings, is to be able to talk about what we do and see it register with people, and they finally get it, know? Yeah. So from a leadership perspective in Goodwill, that's something that's really exciting, because I have one direct report under me. So we work really, really well on kind of like dynamic duo on the marketing side of things. So from like empowering that team, my experience in that capacity is a little bit limited, but being able to empower others in their knowledge of our organization is kind of where I take my leadership angle from a Goodwill Acadiana perspective. And it's fun. Yeah, I love it.
It's huge, eye-opening. And you brought me a mug.
I did. Yes, sir.
Speaking of mugs, and thank you for that. It's really nice.
Yeah. The fidget spinners, just a little fun note for the audience. We use those in every single meeting. If you were to ever have a Zoom call with me, I have a fidget spinner on my desk and I'm spinning it under the camera. If we're in board meetings, meetings with our CEO, Deacon Ed Bustani, all of us have a fidget spinner in the middle of the table and pull it, because it actually does help with fidgeting and your clarity and all that. Yeah. That's why whenever you're on the phone, people pace around the room. That's what you're doing subconsciously. Like, most people just don't know that, but your brain or your body needs something to do while your brain's moving, know?
Correct.
And so, we use, just the context, we use fidget spinners all the time, and I'm very proud of that.
That's the type of people you're recruiting too.
Yes, exactly. Like people who can just have fun, right. Enjoy what they're doing, enjoy life, have some flexibility around things, doing it for a greater purpose. Yeah.
I mean, we should end right there, but I have one more segment. Really, I want to get to, we go into businesses or we join organizations that are fulfilling, and they feed us and they give us life. What is, you're a busy guy, but what is so fulfilling for you that is helping you go in the direction you're heading?
That's a great question. Again, I keep going back to the empowerment of others, because, obviously with all these different positions, like I think we were talking about this earlier, like there is personal kickback to these things, but that's not the sole aim. Like, yeah, that's a benefit, but that's what keeps me really going. Is I'm very driven by the idea of helping others achieve what they want to do, like just like little side note, I'm meeting with one of my fraternity brothers later today because he reached out about, he's like, hey, I know you do goal setting and I want to do this for 2026. I'm like, let's do it 100%. I have a weekly newsletter that I started recently, just like talking about personal and professional ideas to whoever wants to hear, and people can sign up and learn about that. It's just like
how do you sign up? Because I'll put that.
I have a URL link.
Okay.
It's called the Step Up, play off my last name, Stepanek. But yeah, it's personal, professional development, just like my thoughts and mental models behind life and all that kind of stuff. That's what keeps me going. It's like, I know that I can make an impact and that I can help other people do what they want to do, and just being able to use my position and the opportunities that I've been afforded. Because like, yeah, I've worked hard, but I've also had a good deck of cards in my favor. And I recognize that, and so being able to capitalize on that, not only for my personal fulfillment and growth and that whole trajectory of things, but then like pulling people up at the same time, bringing somebody with you. I'm very passionate about that. And so that we will succeed motto is something I always think of and what keeps me going, because I could easily just focus inwards on what I'm doing and lose sight of
you and
what the real goal is and why I believe we're on this earth as humans, is to leave it better than you found it, and help lift up others while you get where you're going.
That's it. That's it.
Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Shout out Ethan Conk. I don't know if we're still rolling, but he's the one who referred me here. Ethan is fantastic for anybody listening. He, pointed me in your direction, and I'm thankful for what this can provide for our community and the outlet, not only, for your professional goals and everything that you're doing with the Company Growth Academy, but just like being able to provide leaders that outlet to share their knowledge, and maybe somebody just gets one piece of information
that's right.
that
That's
they can roll
right.
with, So thank you for this. I appreciate it.
I'm so glad that you'll be my co-host from here on out.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. It's so good.
Yeah,
so
thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I got to meet Grayson Stepanek for the first time, and he blew me away, not only with what all they're doing at Goodwill, but everything he's doing as an individual. Now, I kind of wonder how he sleeps. I hope he inspired you, and I hope if you know somebody who would be great on the show, just reach out to me at jeff@companygrowthacademy.com. Until then, do whatever you can to lead your people, grow your company, and most importantly, live your life.